anybody got to say anything, you let me know.
That's the most excellent idea, sire. Is it?
And you taught him what he needed to be a man. I'll give you that. Because most men ain't man enough to do what you did.
You reached Kicking It with Keith C show.
Yes, thanks largely to the war on drugs, a war that has been waged almost exclusively in poor communities of color, even though studies have consistently shown that people of color are no more likely to use or sell illegal drugs than whites. The war on drugs waged in these ghetto communities has managed to brand as felons millions of people of color for relatively minor, nonviolent drug offenses. And once branded a felon, they're ushered into a permanent second-class status, not unlike the one we supposedly left behind. Those labeled felons may be denied the right to vote, are automatically excluded from juries, and may be legally discriminated against in employment, housing, access to education, public benefits, much like their grandparents or great-grandparents may have been discriminated against during the Jim Crow era.
You've reached another episode of the Kicking It with Keith C show. And today's topic is a very important and interesting topic here. Once again, thank you for joining me here on my podcast. I actually have a guest here with me by the name of Mo. I've known Mo for a long time, and Mo has a story to tell. We're going to discuss her time. She actually, spent some time in our illustrious justice system, and the topic is on once a felon, always a felon? ? Meaning, do we have any remorse, or do we have any reconditioning? And once a person gets through the justice system, can they live their life back in society in a normal manner? That's the questions, and that's the topic that we're going to discuss today. You heard a clip in the beginning by Michelle Alexander called "The New Jim Crow." So I'd like to first welcome Mo. Welcome to the Kicking It with Keith C show.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to actually speak about the little quote that Michelle Alexander said. We actually did a verbal quote, and then I'm going to say this little piece, and then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into your story. So basically, the summary of this book, The New Jim Crow, was she was saying that more African Americans are under the control of the criminal justice system today, in prison or jail, or on probation or parole, than were enslaved in 1850. Discrimination in housing, education, employment, and voting rights, which many Americans thought was wiped out by the civil rights laws of the 1960s, is now perfectly legal against anyone labeled a felon. And since many more people of color than whites are made felons by the entire system of mass incarceration, racial discrimination remains as powerful as it was under slavery or under the post-slavery era of Jim Crow segregation. So that was her quote. And first, we're gonna jump into that, me and you. But first thing I want to do is let's get a background of who you are and what's your story here. Like I said, I've known you a long time, and to me, I mean, as I see you now, you work. You know what I'm saying? You've been working in corporate America. You've had positions in HR, and you just seem like you're striving and making it pretty good in today's society. So let me hear.
It would seem that way.
Let me hear your story.
It would seem that way.
First off, how did you end up in the system, and what was your story?
I came from a small town in Mississippi where it's very, very difficult to find employment. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but rather than continue to look for employment and do things the right way, I chose the street. So I made a bad decision to start selling drugs when I was in my early 20s. So that's where it all began. One bad decision turned into, it seems to me, a lifelong decision. So that's where it all started.
So when you say lifelong decision, let me hear some things that you actually have been facing since. First off, how long did you stay incarcerated?
2 years. 2 years I was incarcerated. I feel like, after being incarcerated and you get out and you do your time, earlier you mentioned some really great points about everything, but, to say that, you do your time, you get out, you be on parole or probation or whatever case may be, it does not end there by any means. That's actually where it begins. I mean, because once the doors close, I mean, if they're closed, it seems that they're closed forever, which puts that in a felon's mind that every door is now closed. It's almost inescapable to think that, you can't get away from thinking that nobody's going to give you an opportunity because of how everything is set up. It's just like 360-degree circles of everybody telling you no for everything in life for the rest of your life.
Right. And you have two daughters, right? And I
do.
I
have two girls.
I think I hear one.
I'm sure you do because it's bath time.
Oh, she's singing.
I got to keep the door open. Sorry. She likes to sing. So, but yeah, you would like to think that the government and even society would care about what happens to felons, but it doesn't happen. From the welfare system to even being able to adopt a child after you change your life. There are so many things in the world that you will never be able to do again, no matter how you fix it. No matter you can preach for the rest of your life. You can become a doctor. You can do that, but you cannot ever apply for food stamps again and get approved. Even though, I'm a person who doesn't want to be in that situation, but, God forbid, you get laid off or something happens, it just, you can pay taxes, but you can't depend on the government anymore to help you with things. Student loans. I mean, it's a number of things. Like you said earlier, housing. It's just a world of no's. So it sends you back either into the world of mischievousness or it makes you become a stronger person. And there's a very, very small percent who choose to stay free.
Wow. You actually were able to go through the system and make a major change or major, rehab in your life. So you had some revelation where you decided to make that change and change your life and come out for the better. And like I said, you were a testament because you did not live that life anymore. You didn't return to that life, and you was able to make it into a corporate job. So what was it?
I haven't returned to that life yet. It's been 11 years. But the things that I'm still currently facing, my mind wanders back to that because I'm forced to think that way. And I know people will think that's crazy, but it's crazy only if you haven't lived it.
Right.
Like if you're not the one that's getting laid off and you don't know where to turn, you're always gonna. It's like when you're an addict. You're a felon. You're always. They say you're always an addict. I think you're always a felon as well. In your mind, you're always a felon, and someone reminds you on a daily basis that you're a felon.
Okay. And so when you're in corporate, so you're currently in between jobs. You're actually looking for a job, right?
Right, because this situation is I was in corporate for 10 years, a few layoffs, and the in-between times of looking for a job and being honest, trying to do things the right way, staying out of trouble. you know, it did not benefit me. So I kind of gave up on corporate America because it'll send you into a state of depression, you know, every time you're told no, or every time you read an application and it asks you, have you ever been convicted of a felony? So in order for me to keep my sanity, I had to figure out something else to do. So I decided to, you know, work for myself.
Okay, wow. All right.
It eases the pain a little bit, but, you know, there's still so many other challenges.
Man, so that right there must be hard emotionally. Like you said, it's a struggle, a daily struggle that you have to go through as far as your mindset to stay on the straight and narrow path rather than revert back to that life of crime. And there are people, I'm sure, who are not so strong, and they're like, man, shoot, I'm just going ahead and go do it. I had to feed my daughter. I had to do this, and they go out and do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Interesting.
It starts to make more sense to you to do that. Like you start to think in your brain, why wouldn't you if you have to eat?
Wow.
It's sad. It really, I mean, it's very emotional. It's sad when you just, you know, when you have nowhere to turn.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to take us a break here. We come back, we're actually going to speak about drugs and the war on drugs and that whole concept, because that actually ties into this too. You're going to see where I'm going with this.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. All right, let's pause for a break.
Whole Team Enterprises, a full-service graphics and marketing company that will take your company's image to the next level, specializing in graphic design, web hosting, printing, video editing, event planning, and more. They are cost-effective, professional, and have an awesome quick turnaround. Please give them a call at 888-755-0036 or visit them online at www.wholeteam.com. Be sure to get your car serviced by the professionals at ICN Services, located in the Buckhead area of Atlanta. They are a full-service automobile concierge service who are an on-site automobile detailing provider with the advantages of their come-to-you service. Your car can get their needs taken care of while you continue your day. They will take your vehicle to appointments, inspections, repairs, returns, and more. Find them online at www.itscleannow.com or reach them at 404-934-0675.
Go see my guys at Platinum Auto Accessories in Lithonia, Georgia. They can get your car audio needs tight. In addition to the audio enhancements, they specialize in visual enhancements for your car as well. Lighting, rims, alarm systems, remote starts, and more. Visit Kevin and James with some of the best deals in the Atlanta metro area. Conveniently located at 2648 Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, off I-20 and the Evans Mill exit. Also give them a call at 678-323-7888. Mention this ad for a special discount. Friends of the Kicking It with Key C show.
You've reached Kicking It with Key C show.
Rising drug crime. Actually, the war on drugs, the current drug war, was declared in 1982 by President Ronald Reagan at a time when drug crime was actually on the decline. A few years later, crack cocaine hit the streets in poor communities of color across America, and the Reagan administration hired staff to publicize crack babies, crack mothers, crack dealers in inner city communities in an effort to build public support and more funding and ensure more funding for the new war that had been declared. But the drug war had relatively little to do with drug crime crime even from the outset. The drug war was launched in response to racial politics, not drug crime. The drug war was part of the Republican Party's grand strategy, often referred to as the Southern Strategy, an effort to appeal to poor and working class white voters who were felt vulnerable, threatened by the gains of the civil rights movement, particularly desegregation, busing, and affirmative action. And the Republican Party found that it could get Democrats, white, working class poor Democrats, to defect from the Democratic New Deal coalition and join the Republican Party through racially coded political appeals on issues of crime and welfare. And the strategy worked like a charm. Within weeks of the Reagan administration's, publicity campaign around crack cocaine, images of black crack users and crack dealers flooded, our nation's television sets and forever changed, our nation's conception of who drug users and dealers are. And law enforcement efforts became targeted on poor communities of color in the drug war. And drug law enforcement agencies, state and local law enforcement task forces committed to drug law enforcement have been rewarded for drastically increasing the volume of drug arrests. Federal funding flows to state and local law enforcement that boosts the volume of drug arrests, the sheer numbers. Many people think the drug war, has been targeted at violent offenders or aimed at rooting out drug kingpins. But nothing could be further from the truth. Local and state law enforcement agencies get rewarded for the sheer numbers of drug arrests, and federal drug forfeiture laws allow state and local law enforcement officials to keep 80% of the cash, cars, homes that they seize from suspected drug offenders, granting to law enforcement a direct monetary interest in the profitability and longevity in the drug war. And the results have been predictable. Millions of poor people of color have been rounded up for relatively minor nonviolent drug offenses. In fact, in 2005, 4 out of 5 drug arrests were for possession. Only 1 out of 5 were for sales. Most people in state prison for drug offenses have no history of violence or significant selling activity. And during the 1990s, the period of the greatest expansion of the drug war, nearly 80% of the increase in drug arrests were for marijuana possession, a drug now widely believed to be less harmful than alcohol or tobacco, and at least as prevalent in middle-class and suburban white communities as it is in the ghetto.
All right. We're back with the Kicking It with Key C show. Thanks for listening to our sponsors, and you can find us online at keyc.com, KYSII.com, and also on the mobile platforms, BlackBerry, Android, and Apple devices. And I'm also on iTunes and Google Podcasts. So definitely follow me and spread the word, because we need listeners. We're trying to get the word out on a lot of different things here, so I hit all kind of topics. So we're still kicking it here with Mo, and we're live on the SME, Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. We got Mo here online with us. So Mo, I played that clip of Michelle Alexander. She, in her book, also discusses her book, the new Jim Crow. She discusses the war on drugs. And crazy thing is, Nancy Reagan just recently passed away, and she was actually one of the head people to spearhead that war on drugs when she was first lady. Right. And that time period was pretty interesting when you saw or heard what Michelle Alexander said, and she was just saying that it was a strange targeted effort that they put out there in the inner cities. So the first thing I want to speak about is the whole crack cocaine versus cocaine issue, because a small piece of crack can get you more time than a substantial more of cocaine.
Right, and it definitely does. It does. It can and it does. I'm thinking it's because crack, it has to be cooked, and like crystal meth and all those other drugs. When you add so much stuff to it, I guess they consider it a different drug. Crack is smoked and cocaine is typically snorted or shot up. So the cocaine is considered a rich people drug, and crack is considered a poor people drug. It's more so found in poor communities.
Yes. Still, look at who.
I know. I mean, either way, I mean, it's still it's cocaine. So, as far as the amount of time goes that they get, it just is substantially different. I mean, for crack, like you said, you would get 20 years versus getting 4 or 5 with cocaine.
And that's absurd.
And it's crazy.
That is actually absurd. That's actually really crazy. And there's a lot of guys that's actually locked up for that at this time.
Right.
And
right, and in the state of Mississippi.
Go ahead. About Mississippi?
In the state of Mississippi, I think at one point in time, they had laws where you had to do 85% of that time. And over time, I think it was reduced to 65 and 50%, but that's still a lot of time to do for one thing. I mean, some people kill people and get way less time, 5 years for manslaughter. So I just think it's targeted for black people, black communities.
Listen to this. There is a quote from this book that says, because you said Mississippi, it says, a criminal freed from prison has scarcely more rights and arguably less respect than a freed slave or black person living free in Mississippi, the height of Jim Crow.
I would totally agree with that.
So they barely have respect and as many rights as a freed slave in Mississippi from way back. That is
very sad.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, people do not understand the depth of being a felon. It's just the whole crack cocaine and the people doing 40 years for a rock. I mean, is anybody ever going to pay any attention to this? Is it ever going to stop? I mean, there's nothing in the world that you can do besides kill somebody that should warrant that much time.
Right. It doesn't make.
And it's African Americans who get that much time.
That is absolutely a crazy, astonishing statistic there. That is a crazy, astonishing statistic.
Right. My charge was possession of cocaine, and my total length of my sentence was initially 8 years. Had that been crack, it probably would have been 50.
Wow.
I wouldn't be here today.
All right, so let's take this to real life situations. All right, so when you say you've been struggling as far as you've had that corporate job over 10 years, they had layoffs or whatever. It's been difficult, even though you're fully qualified to find another job. What do you run into? What is it like? What type of scheming or things do you try to leave stuff off the application or what? I mean, what is it?
I went into this, after I educated myself and tried to do the right thing. I came into it honestly. I told everybody the truth. I got so many no's. I just kept saying, I'm going to keep trying, keep getting told no. And then after so long, when you get the jobs and you get laid off and you're going through these periods of, I have to pay for this and do this, you start lying. Because the question on the application is the first thing they see after they see your name. They read all of their address, previous jobs, great. But once you get to that, have you been convicted of a felony? Take it from me working in HR. That's what I do. That question is going to determine the next step. It's going to determine if there is a next step for you. So once you see that, there's 50 other applications next to you that answer the question no. So why would I look at you? Why would they look at me? It doesn't matter how much education I have. I'm already competing with people who have education.
Yes.
and good work history and good work ethic like I do. I'm already competing with them. Well, once that question is read, that knocks me out of the pile. I barely made it through, because I make it through mostly because of my name. Sad to say, but, it's true. But after that, the resume, then the application, and then it's a whole nother story.
Wow. That is crazy. So people in this situation, it's most likely to run your own business after this. That's pretty much what people are left with.
I would definitely recommend that, because you have to find something that you're good at, because I can't say that people are just going to jump and give you a chance. That would be a total lie. Sometimes it took me 2 months to find a job. Sometimes it took me 2 years. So, just find something to do. Educate yourself as much as you can. Find something to do that you can do for yourself. In this day and age, that's kind of becoming more common for people to find things they can do from home and things like that. But, if you work for corporations and stuff from home, they still look at it too. But like working for yourself from home, I don't care what it is. I would just suggest that you find something else to do, because it's so many ups and downs when it comes to that. You get laid off from a job after 10 years, you never know when you're going to find your next job if you're a convicted felon, because it follows you. It's been 11 years for me, and I've only had one speeding ticket, but I still have to answer for that.
Wow.
Every day of my life.
Absolutely crazy.
Even with licensing for what I do now, I still have to explain to you what I did when I was a young kid, a young adult, excuse me.
That's just astonishing right there. So, reform is definitely needed when it comes to that. It's like we said.
Right. Give us 10 years. If you don't do anything in 10 years, I would have just made that mark, last year. If I haven't done anything, if I've stayed out of the police's hands, why can't I have another chance? I would pay something, within my means to get it sealed or whatever the case may be. But it's just following me everywhere I go.
Right. And they're saying that a lot of these, as far as the prisons, there's like corporate owned prisons out here now too. There's corporations owning these prisons, so it's like big business out here.
It's a business now, right?
It's
a business.
That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Like you don't get a second chance. Once you've done something, once you've done anything, it follows you for the rest of your life. You just don't get a second chance. You can't get public housing, no more food stamps, and that's only mostly in the southern states, as far as I can see, where they just cut you out of food stamps and stuff like that. It just makes no sense to me that you won't give me a job. I can't if I can't eat, you won't give me any assistance. If I don't have a place to live, I can't get public housing. So you tell me what I'm supposed to do. Where do I go from there? I go sell drugs, or I go do some crazy thing that puts me back where I came from. When I first went to prison, the first thing they told me is only 18% of you will not be back. That's 82% of the people in the room. 82, let's just say 100. 82 out of 100 people that he sat in front of were going to return to that prison. I'm by the grace of God, I'm one of the 18%.
Wow.
But that's a very, very, very small number of people who don't return. Why do you think that is?
Wow.
Give me one reason to not go back. I can't help myself. You feel helpless.
Oh man, that is disheartening right there. Very much so. That doesn't really make sense. It's just like it's designed to send someone back.
Right, because they barely want you to get education. They barely want you to get education. It's like when I did my student loans and everything, it's like, okay, if you were convicted of a felony at such and such time, so they even hold you from getting money to educate yourself. So you tell me exactly, you can barely work at McDonald's without a background check. So please tell me, how am I supposed to do better? How am I supposed to not go back to prison? And that's what I keep saying every day. Everybody's not like me. Everybody's not saying, you know what, I'm not going back under any circumstances.
Right. Okay.
I think we lost my. Hey, I think we lost you for a second. There you go. You're still there.
Okay. Okay, I'm here.
It clipped out for a second. You said everybody's not like you. Everybody's not going to.
They're not going to be able to stay out of prison.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Ugh.
They're not. 2 years, I saw one Caucasian woman come and go 4 times in 2 years.
4 times?
4 times.
Dang.
In 2 years. And this is not jail that I'm talking about. I'm talking about prison. They're letting them out just easily. But the first time I went up for parole, I didn't make it because I smoked a cigarette in the building.
Are you serious?
It's so much discrimination in the state of Mississippi. At the end of the sentence, when I left, they give you a form that says, tell us everything about your visit. Nobody will know what's on this paper. It's a counselor. They're giving you all of this niceties and telling you, nobody will ever read this. But yet they go give it to everybody that's there that you've written anything about, that's done anything in the prison system. And once they read it, before you walk out of that door, they spit on you, they curse you, they tell you that if you come back, they will kill you. The prison system is crazy. And all of that, imagine 40 years of, dealing with the prison system. I couldn't imagine it. That's why I just feel like something should be done for people. It should be somebody re-evaluating cases, to say the least. I mean, it just should be something done. You shouldn't be subjected to that for that long for things like that.
And there's no asterisk or nothing. It's not like, okay, like you said, you can't just say, okay, I've done time, and there's no, everything is a felony is a felony, basically, right? They're not looking at it and say, okay, well, she just stole a car or she just wrote some bad checks. It's all the same, right? Felony is a felony.
No, because if you murder somebody or if you go steal something, you can still get public housing and food and food stamps and things like that. It's only with drug charges that you cannot get certain things. It's not all crime. You murder somebody, you're good. You're going to eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even know how they can explain that, but it's crazy. It makes no sense the way the government's set up for drug selling. Makes no sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. Reform is definitely needed, especially the justice system. Disheartening to think about that. I mean, I know people.
It is. There's so many other things that we could talk all night, Keith.
Right. There's people that actually have.
You know what I mean?
There's people that actually have. I think they make companies that try to rehab or try to recondition prisoners back into the world. But like you said, that's not effective if it's not your own business. You know what I mean? If it's not your own business, then that is definitely an issue. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take another break, and then when we come back, we will wrap this thing up. All right, let's pause for a break. Next time you're in the need of video production or editing, give my guys Masterminds Production a call. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they specialize in short films, concerts, music videos, sporting events, promotional videos, commercials, weddings, fashion and photography, all at affordable rates to accommodate your budget. You can reach them online at www.mastermindtv.net or give them a call, 678-420-8494. Mastermind Production. If you're a fan of the Kicking It with KC show, you also can find my app on all of the different mobile outlets, on the Google Play Store, on the Apple Store, and also on the BlackBerry world. You can find me on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Mixcloud, iTunes, and more.
Be sure to download the mobile app.
www.keysee.com. That's www.kysii.com.
You've reached Kicking It with Key C show.
Yeah, you're back with the Kicking It with Key C show. Yeah, so once again, thanks for listening. It's been such a crazy topic here. It's astonishing the information that we got, and during the break we lost Mo on our phone, but we got a lot of information here. Maybe her phone died. I'm not sure. Anyway, the rate of felons, I mean, it's astonishing. Those that are not able to return back into to society, into a working or a corporate job. I mean, that really doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing is, as a contrast, we're not even teaching people how to become entrepreneurs or to run your own business. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's probably some kind of what do you call it? Red flags when it comes to going to get certain licenses and things to, make your business official. I'm sure it is. We ain't even get into none of that part. So it's I mean, you got people that's probably listening like, hey, they did it. They did this or did that. So they should be doing the time. They should receive their punishment. And, oh, well, I mean, that's probably what some people are saying here. But up to what point can a person get back into society? Okay, and I understand. All right, so if you have done something like I don't know, murder or pedophile or something that I might call despicable, but certain charges, I don't know, certain lesser charges may should have certain stipulations or conditions to bring or recondition somebody back into society. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some change here, and it just got to happen. It's got to happen now. I mean, Mo's story is, it's a trip, man. She's out here looking for employment, and it's just been a real tough thing. So, anybody here in the Atlanta metro area, if y'all got any leads on some work, especially on the west side of Atlanta, feel free definitely to contact me. You can find my information on keysee.com. We would love to at least help Marlena get back into the workforce. So I want to say thank y'all for once again listening to me, Babylon. This was a real touchy subject, real serious subject that's not being addressed, and it's a real issue. So once again, thanks for everything that you do for my SME listeners that's been tuning in. Thank y'all. Keep God first. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for, what we're promised, because everything is how should I say it? Everything is not promised. So we live here today and we could be gone tomorrow. So be sure to tell your loved ones, that you love them every day. And it's crazy out here. So thank you. The time's been real. Our time's up. And we will see you on the next podcast.